Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pen Decker of Kung Tech Fu, doing crypto kung fu with you all day long. And like a good kung fu instructor, ladies and gentlemen, and or my financial warriors, that's what I like to call you guys, financial warriors and or wealth builders, ladies and gentlemen, ever reminding you that you do not need to chase the money. All you need to do is position yourself properly and the money will come to you. We have another disturbing event to bring to you guys today to correct your knowledge and or your perspective and or your worldview on the world of finance, ladies and gentlemen. I have finally put a name to what it is that we do here. And basically, you know, I am a professional portfolio manager focusing on DeFi, ladies and gentlemen. And you too should be your own portfolio manager, ladies and gentlemen, as we build a solid foundation. And before we get into this, cleaning of the lens and to look at actual facts, because see, we are not interested in opinions here, ladies and gentlemen. We are interested in that which is actual, factual, and verifiable, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, 2 + 2 is 4, no matter who says it, no matter what part of the world, no matter what part of the universe. And that's what we are dealing with here. So we have to know when we're dealing with the physical, which is finance, and when we're dealing with the conceptual. But before we go along, ladies and gentlemen, you guys already know we are taking care of some foundational things. And the first thing we want to look at is KINESIS money here, which is tokenized gold and silver right now, ladies and gentlemen. And the second thing we're going to need is we're going to need a place to off-ramp our fiat and into the cryptoverse. And so, of course, we're going to use things like UPHOLD, MEXC, and KRAKEN. So the links for the description for all of this stuff will be down below, ladies and gentlemen. But one thing that we also want to look at is we also want to look at Caleb and Brown, ladies and gentlemen. And Caleb and Brown is basically a crypto broker. And let's see here. I'm trying to get to the landing page there. So yeah, they're saying trusted since 2016. You're all in one hub. And there we go. Personal crypto brokerage. They help with clients, buy, sell, swap currencies 24/7, human support. And you can go here and you look for yourself. The link for my referral link for Caleb and Brown will be down in the description below, ladies and gentlemen. Caleb and Brown is as legit as they come. And you will be able to, buy, sell, have them place orders for you. You can actually use them as a custodian as well. You can put, your stuff there, and it's fully backed by Fireblocks and all of that stuff. And yeah, you could just go ahead and look at dedicated crypto. What is a crypto broker? You could just go here and find all of this stuff out. And you can sign up for free, ladies and gentlemen, and create an account. So it's ready when you are 24/7. You can actually talk to people, not robots. And not sit there with automated 7. You'd be like, oh, if you are pissed off, press number 7, But yeah, so start your crypto journey today. Caleb and Brown. This will also be down in the description below. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to what we're talking about here today. And the topic today is Jeffrey Epstein. Ladies and gentlemen, the Epstein files have come out and everybody's talking about Jeffrey Epstein this, Jeffrey Epstein that. And we have finally got the long-awaited Epstein files that protects the powerful, ladies and gentlemen, the people who are, always trying to enslave humanity. And you guys really need to stop calling them elites. Please stop calling them elites. Please stop calling them elites. They are not elites. They are cowards, psychopaths. Let's call them what they are. Cowardly psychopaths. They are not elites. Okay? You are the elite. You are the best. You are the supreme. You are humanity. You are the children of God. Okay? So let's get that straight first and foremost. But anyway, getting back to Jeffrey Epstein, the topic of today is Jeffrey Epstein helped create BTC, not Bitcoin. Let's get that straight. Jeffrey Epstein helped create BTC, not Bitcoin. I'm going to say that one more time because you guys have this fog going on within you that was placed there because you were indoctrinated in this crypto world to not be able to see clearly because you was given the wrong information, ladies and gentlemen. It's not because there's something wrong with you. Somebody simply deceived you, and they deceived the world. And that person is called Jack Dorsey. That person is called Greg Maxwell. And that company is called Blockstream, ladies and gentlemen, as we will see because we have the evidence here before you. Jeffrey Epstein helped create BTC, not Bitcoin, because BTC is not Bitcoin. SegWit Bitcoin, native SegWit Bitcoin is not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to prove that to you in just a moment. But if we look here at this file given by David Schwartz from XRP, okay, it says here, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist, but it was, let me see, what does it say here? I wouldn't be at all surprised if this is just the tip of the iceberg. And basically this guy goes on and says, now this is from Austin Hill. Now Austin Hill is the head of a company called Blockstream, ladies and gentlemen, which controls the BTC narrative, but they keep telling you it's Bitcoin. It is not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, as I will prove to you here, okay? Now this is from Austin Hill to Jeffrey Epstein, and it says that, hi guys, we obviously have seen the URL for stellar.org, and I'm not sure what the relationship with Jed and the team are. Now, of course, he's talking about Jed McCaleb, and Jed McCaleb helped create XRP, and then he left to create Stellar Lumens. We all know that, okay, or you should know that. I know, obviously, I know some of the players, but this is a problem for us. Would you please give me a call at this number that's redacted? I can explain some of the issues. But basically, I've been asked by the other co-founders to reduce or take your allocation away. Ripple and Jed McCaleb's new Stellar are bad for the ecosystem. We are building. We are building. We are building. And it does our company damage. What is the company? Blockstream. To have investors who are backing two horses in the same race. Happy to discuss a fair way to deal with this. Best Austin. Okay? Now Austin goes on to talk. He's sitting here talking about, this is not Satoshi Nakamoto. This is not the creator of Bitcoin. This is Austin Hill, the creator of BTC. Well, he helped to create BTC along with Jeffrey Epstein, along with Jack Dorsey, and along with Greg Maxwell, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look here. Now, if we look here, we see this. Ripple Stellar explains this. Now, the Gmail mentions 4 people: Austin Hill, Jeffrey Epstein, the recipient, and Reid Hoffman. Austin Hill was the CEO and co-founder of Blockstream, ladies and gentlemen. You see, I already knew this. They didn't have to tell me. I already knew this, but this is confirmation. At the time, a company focused on Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, BTC. And I'm going to show you the difference between BTC and Bitcoin. To my understanding, the email to Epstein and this guy was just another effort by Bitcoin maxis to fight Ripple and the Stellar organization. Now, they're not Bitcoin maxis, they're BTC maxis, but they're passing themselves off as Bitcoin maxis because Bitcoin and BTC are two different things. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. BTC is a modified form of Bitcoin. You see, this is what enslavers, this is what deceivers, this is what, people, who are always trying to enslave humanity, this is what they do. They take the original, they make a modified copy, they destroy the original, and they present their modified copy as the original. That's what BTC is. It is a modified copy. They destroyed your knowledge or your awareness of actual Bitcoin, and they presented their modified copy as the original. We know that Epstein and Ito were connected through MIT Media Lab, where the lab received money through some of the other foundations that Epstein controlled. Seems that Epstein and, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Joshi Ito were invested in Blockstream and were also involved or were considering getting involved with Ripple or Stellar. Second recipient of the email, Joshi Ito, was the co-founder of Digital Garage, a Japanese company invested in Blockstream. He was also one of the advisors of the Stellar Foundation back in 2014. Austin Hill was putting pressure on them to reduce or take their allocation away from Blockstream in order to pick a horse, his horse, in this race, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if we go back here, we also see how they're moving in these days and time. Because back in the day, CoinGeek wrote an article on how Bitcoin SV, the actual Bitcoin original protocol with Genesis block intact, 1 million transactions per second or more, how Bitcoin SV will control the new data economy, ladies and gentlemen, because it is the only actual, factual, real Bitcoin. People will tell you that BSV is a fork of Bitcoin. No, it is not. It is actual Bitcoin on Terranode technology, ladies and gentlemen, and also Web3 IPv6 instead of IPv4, which is everything in these days and time is based upon the old Web2 is IPv4. IPv6 is the new technology, along with the Terranode that is processing Bitcoin transactions peer-to-peer, starting at 1 million transactions per second, and is scalable into the billions and trillions ultimately, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about what we came to talk about. And what we came to talk about is, let's understand, that's BTC, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin was invented in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. In the white paper detailing Bitcoin, he described it as a way to replace the existing payment processing system on the internet because they did not permit microtransactions due to high fees. That's another thing Bitcoin SV does. It processes microtransactions, ladies and gentlemen, and it is faster than Visa and MasterCard. Okay, now you can go here and you can read this for yourself. I'm just going to highlight it, you know what I'm saying? But Bitcoin was a complete functioning system upon release, not a prototype that could be changed according to current sentiment. Okay, and then I played this for you yesterday where Richard Hart talked about taking part in the lying, cheating, and stealing of what SegWit did. And for those of you that did not see that video, I'll play this clip for you real quick.
2 years ago, you got SegWit, which we lied and cheated and stealed, and I was part of the lying and cheating and stealing to get SegWit, to get Lightning, which, by the way, had critical vulnerabilities and lost people's money, which only has 50% more Bitcoin in it than wrapped Bitcoin with BitGo as a counterparty on Ethereum, right?
SegWit, by removing digital signatures from Bitcoin blockchain, has fundamentally altered the Bitcoin system, moving it away from the inventor of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto's vision, and violating the very definition of Bitcoin in Satoshi's white paper as an electronic coin, as a chain of digital signatures. This is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see here, now here's the ticker forks. You got Bitcoin, that goes straight down. Now these are the forks. Okay, now these are the ticker forks. The ticker is when you go and you look up a coin in CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, you will see a ticker. Or if you go to Wall Street, and you're looking for a certain, stock, like if you're looking for Nvidia, you'll see NV, DA. If you're looking for Tesla, you'll see TSA. You'll see the ticker, which represents the stock or the financial instrument. Now these are the ticker forks. Bitcoin goes straight down to BTC, of course, but that is incorrect. Then over here, this is the cover story. Then they show a fork here of BCH, which is Bitcoin Cash, which goes down to BCH. And then they will show you a so-called fork of BCH into BSV and down here. But that is not the actual factual, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you have been told. This is what is the protocol. Okay? Now, what is the actual protocol, ladies and gentlemen? The protocol starts off as Bitcoin and it goes straight down to the original Bitcoin protocol, which is BSV. So you see, BTC is the 2017 fork, not BSV. Bitcoin Cash was the fork, not BSV, because neither BTC nor BCH has the Genesis block. If you do not have the Genesis block, if you do not have every transaction that has ever been produced by Bitcoin itself, which is the beginning, meaning Genesis block by Hal Finney, do you have it? No, you don't. You don't have it. Stop calling these rich people, these cowardly psychopaths, elites. They are not elites. Stop calling BTC Bitcoin. It is not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. You have been deceived, but it's not too late to turn around. As a result, the stewards of the original Bitcoin protocol preserved the real Bitcoin ticker BSV, while at the same time increasing and eventually removing the block size restraints on the system, which were preventing the false versions of Bitcoin from scaling, as Satoshi Nakamoto, the inventor of Bitcoin, had intended. By keeping blocks small, BTC restricted the number of transactions, allowing the network, removing the block size completely, and was always Satoshi's intention. Now, here's the emails of Satoshi talking. Now, you can go down and, if I were you, if you're interested in Bitcoin, if you love Bitcoin, if you know that the problems in the world, if you understand that Bitcoin fixes this, then you should read this. Here's another video where you have an all-star panel of all of these crypto guys, and Satoshi Nakamoto tells them that Bitcoin is Turing complete. And they're like, oh, no, well, we don't know about that. We don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And he says, yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? If you do this, that, the other, blah, 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 this is how you get Turing completeness in Bitcoin. And then he sits there and dumbfounds the whole panel right on the spot. We will watch that at another time, ladies and gentlemen. But you need to go down here. It says, while BTC will be unable to maintain a 21 million coin limit, BSV, with its unbounded block size, has the ability to maintain the 21 million limit by allowing large numbers of transactions to serve as the incentive mechanism to accumulate enough small fees to secure the network and run inflation-free long-term, as Satoshi's white paper describes. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, the whole problem is the banks could not control, cannot control, will not control Bitcoin ever. That's the problem. So they said to themselves, how can we get control of Bitcoin? How can we master this? How can we make it our tool? How can we reacquire control of humanity and block off the escape to our madness, our mayhem, our enslaving of humanity? How can we do that? They created BTC, ladies and gentlemen, where they took control of the Bitcoin narrative once again by convincing you that BTC was Bitcoin. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they always do. They've done it in many different aspects. They take the original, they make a modified copy, they destroy your knowledge of the original, and they present their modified copy as the original. BTC is not Bitcoin. Say it with me. BTC is not Bitcoin. Understand this, and please take control of your own financial destiny, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. I'm going to show you something that if you take heed, it will change your life. Right now, we see BTC as the number one. It has fallen down to 77,000. One day it will fall to zero. You know why? Because it has to. Because it must, ladies and gentlemen. Because it is not part of the plan. You will be used as exit liquidity, ladies and gentlemen. Understand what is going on. If you go to BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, right now, not one day. I ask people all the time, do you think you'll ever own a full Bitcoin? And they say, oh, no, I don't think so. You know, I got about 0.000001 Bitcoin right now, and I'm building my portfolio. And no, you're not. You're wasting your time, and you're traveling in a car, and you've let these cowardly psychopaths grab hold of your steering wheel and press on the gas, and they're driving you to a financial brick wall at 200 miles an hour. Understand that the true Bitcoin, right now, you can get a full Bitcoin at the time of this video for $15.42. A full Bitcoin. Right now. Not in a year. Now. So by the time the world realizes, by the time hyper-Bitcoinization takes place, do you understand what hyper-Bitcoinization is? Let's find out what that is. Let's type into here, what is, okay? What is hyper-Bitcoinization? What is that? Well, you know what? Ooh, look what the search assistant pulled up for us, ladies and gentlemen. It said, I gotta turn the music down for this one. It says, hyper-Bitcoinization is a theoretical scenario where Bitcoin becomes the dominant global currency, replacing existing fiat currencies and fundamentally changing the financial system. This process involves widespread adoption of Bitcoin as a medium of exchange and store of value, driven by loss of confidence in traditional finance institutions. Hyper-Bitcoinization, it pretty much says the same thing here. But let me tell you what it actually means. What it actually means, ladies and gentlemen, is this. And it will happen. And when it does happen, you have to ask yourself, what side of the fence will you be on? Hyper-Bitcoinization simply means when the entire world realizes they need Bitcoin. When fiat collapses, it is already at $38 trillion, ladies and gentlemen. There's the debt clock. 38 trillion and counting. We will never be able to pay that off. The only thing we can do is sidestep this into a new financial system. And that new financial system is cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin spearheading the way. Sure, there'll be room for a couple of other cryptocurrencies, but understand that with the regulation, with Trump's new Clarity Act coming in, because remember, President Trump's financial destiny is tied to crypto as well. And in order for him to do that, we have to have clarity. And in order to have clarity, BTC cannot even survive regulation, because it must be under the definition of a mature blockchain. And because of SegWit, it does not meet the definition of mature blockchain. You see right here, the term digital commodity means any fungible digital asset that can be exclusively processed and transferred person to person without necessary reliance on an intermediary, and is recorded on a blockchain. What do you think Blockstream is? Blockstream, the company, is an intermediary. Satoshi never asked for any core developers. Okay? So this is what's going on. So BTC can't survive. They can't even survive their own lives, ladies and gentlemen. And Trump knows the difference. And I told you in my last video that I made just yesterday that all the Trump coins are legacy coins. They are not SegWit. If your Bitcoin starts with the number 3, if your Bitcoin starts with BC1, your Bitcoin is fake, ladies and gentlemen. It is BTC. It is not Bitcoin. Okay? Know and understand that. All right? Know and understand that it is not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. So this is where we are now. So when you go to bsv.com, this is where you can start to learn to unleash the potential of data on chain. So you must understand that Bitcoin SV has the ability to completely hold the entirety of all human knowledge in one place. BSV blockchain represents Bitcoin's original design, an electronic cash system built to handle global transaction volumes without artificial constraints. The network has already proven it can live up to this vision, processing blocks as large as 4 gigabytes and over 50 million transactions in a single day, ladies and gentlemen. And this, of course, is because of the Terranode technology. What sets BSV apart is its approach to scalability through the original Bitcoin protocol design. So you guys pretty much understand what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you look down in the description below. Make sure you get with KINESIS money, tokenized gold and silver. Make sure you get yourself with UPHOLD, because if you go through UPHOLD, you can also earn 5.4%, up to 5.4% on your stable coins while you hold. You can also get the debit card where you could start to spend using your crypto, ladies and gentlemen, so that you don't have to go back into fiat, sell into a depreciating asset, which is fiat, and of course, which could possibly trigger a capital gains tax, and you get in trouble with the 3-letter people. You don't want that, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, this is the one and only Pendecker Sensei, the DeFi crypto master, giving you the real information once again, ladies and gentlemen. Now, remember, this is generational wealth. If you stay in BTC, you will not have any generational wealth, because when the music stops, you will not have a chair with BTC. And the music is designed to stop. Why do you think BlackRock's trying to sell you an ETF? Why do you think the banks have retaken control over the narrative of what they keep telling you is Bitcoin? It is not. I've just proven that, and I will continue to prove that. So do yourself a favor. Get yourself a wallet. And not only that, but as I explained before, remember I told you that it also has, on the Bitcoin blockchain, ladies and gentlemen, BSV also has MNEE, which is the money stablecoin, ladies and gentlemen. The MNEE, which is on the Bitcoin blockchain and is also on Ethereum. See, right now, right here, down here, the contract address says Ethereum, because it is also, you will also be able to use this in the Ethereum virtual machine world. But if you go on to your BSV wallets, Handcash, Rock Wallet, you got your Money Wallet, you got the MetaNet here, and of course over here in Orange Gateway. And inside your wallet, you will see that the BSV money stablecoin is indeed measured in sats, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. And I just told you yesterday about the guy that made the video talking about Citria layer 2 BTC Fi, blockchain has a native stablecoin on Bitcoin. No, they don't. They have a stablecoin on BTC layer 2, which they call BTC Fi, ladies and gentlemen. It is not Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. But MNEE is an actual stablecoin that is on the Bitcoin blockchain. Know and understand. Know and understand. Actually, take the scales from your eyes, for your own benefit. As I told you, I am not here to convince you of anything. I am not here to sell you anything. I am simply here to show you that you can indeed be the savior of yourself, ladies and gentlemen, by becoming the rightful master of yourself, by having the right information. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, you guys already know. Stay tuned for my next video. Make sure you go down, ladies and gentlemen, and hit that subscribe button. We need 1,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little less than 400 right now. We need you to be on the team. We need you to be on the winning team, ladies and gentlemen. Go down, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button. I don't care. Just acknowledge us in some shape, form, or fashion. I would like it if you hit the like button. But we definitely need you to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you subscribe, then that means that we will be able to monetize this channel, and we'll be able to, get some really good things going and talk to the people that you need to talk to in order to learn how to get this crypto.